Hi everyone, my name is Kelly Manzone. I've returned to Tuesdays at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time for the month of October. For today's class, we are going to be covering the superficial back line. That's going to be the theme for this month. We're going to need our short stick, 4 or 5 foot, and if you don't have the stick mobility sticks, you could use a wooden dowel, PVC pipe, whatever you have available to you. And we're also going to need one long stick, either the 6 foot or 7 foot. If you have any issues with your knees, you could always have a towel or a pillow nearby. And we're going to start today's class by warming up from the ground up, working into our feet first, because the superficial back line goes from the bottom of our feet up the back to the top of our head. I'm going to begin on a diagonal here, and I'm going to take my right hand on top, left hand on the bottom, come into our stick mobility horse stance. So you're going to take a second to pack those shoulders, pushing down into the ground with the stick about 20-30% tension to create some stability. And we're just going to take that outside right foot, working into the toes and the fascia in the bottom of the foot, up through the Achilles. Just lift and lower. A few more on the right, and then we're going to switch over to our left. Let's do one more. And again, in our horse stance, switching sides, you're going to keep that tailbone under, proud chest with the upper body. Get releve, work into the toes, lower that heel. Excellent. Let's do 3 more here. Up 1, up 2. After the third, switching back to the right. Now we're going to circle outward. It's important to know that the circle begins with the foot-ankle complex, not the knee or hip. Let's do 3 more. Outward 1, 2, 3. Complete the circle, lower the heel. Now lift the left, and again, circling outward. Getting into the toes, into the bottom of the foot. This feels so good. Let's do 3 more. 1, 2. Complete the circle on 3. Lower. Now, as you releve back to the right, we're going to change the direction of our circle and now circle inward instead of outward. Just got a nice release in my ankle. Let's do 3 more. 1, 2, 3, complete the circle, lower the heel, back over to our left once again. Now that circle is going to be inward, just like we did on the other side. Watching your alignment and breathing. Let's do 1 more circle. Excellent. Complete it. Now we're going to go into our horse stance once again, working into anterior and posterior pelvic tilt. Let's switch hands. So now I have the left hand on top. We're in that horse stance. We're neutral here. And then you're going to tip back the tailbone, anterior tilt, and then scoop the tailbone under. So you're going to feel that activation of the front line and anterior tilt. Tuck. Good. Again, you're pushing down into the stick. Tip. Tuck under. Let's do 3 more. Tip, good. Tuck under. 2 more, then we're going to go into some circles. Perfect. 1 more tuck, coming neutral, keeping my feet and knees essentially still. I'm going to tip the right hip and circle in one direction, taking that tailbone under, so that we alternate between the anterior and the posterior tilt. Let's come neutral, switch hands, pack those shoulders, and in the opposite direction. So leading to the left first, again, driving down into the stick, loosening up through the hips so we could really tap into our posterior line. Let's do 2 more. Excellent. 1 more. Full circle, come neutral, shake it out. Now we're going to stretch out the bottom of our foot with an isometric hold for a moment. So I have the stick in my right hand, taking now the big toe, leveraging it against the base of the stick. Now everybody is different. Again, we have 2 muscles that make up our calf, gastroc and soleus. Take a second Drop that shoulder. You're going to soften the inside knee, and you could pull the stick forward. So you may need to adjust a couple of times where the big toe is placed to maximize the stretch that you could get from this. And then I want you to lengthen the arm and take the foot up a little bit higher, tip back, go into a hamstring stretch. So we're getting right below the bottom of the foot, the Achilles, up into the calf and hamstring and glute. Come up. Good. Leverage. Tailbone under. Take that shoulder, pack it, soften that elbow. Draw the chest closer towards the stick, getting another stretch through the bottom of the foot. And then lengthen the arm. Shift and take the tailbone back. Lift the belly, length through the spine. Hold here. And slowly come up. Changing sides. I'm just going to switch my position. So now we have the stick in our left hand. Big toe leverages against the bottom of the stick. Now this side I can already feel the difference. This side's a little bit tighter. Inside right knee is soft. Pack that shoulder. Draw it in. Hold. Remember, you're breathing. I'm a big fan of diaphragmatic breathing. So if you'd like to do that throughout class, you're going to close your mouth. Rest the tongue on the roof of your mouth and focus on breathing just through your nose. That's just a suggestion. You don't have to practice it unless you want to. And then as you come up, again, bend that elbow, stretch, proud chest. Take a moment, hip hinge forward, adjust the big toe if needed. Now working into that posterior line. Pause here. Good. And then slowly come to stand. Going into bow and arrow, our superficial line also includes our lats. So we're going to go into some dynamic warm-up with some flossing. You're going to take your stance a little bit wider than hip width. Your stick is going to be placed about 2 or 3 inches out from the midline of your right foot. So when I'm facing the camera flips me, so even though this is my left side, I'm going to call it my right side so that you can follow along with me. You're going to take your bottom right hand to where your sticker would be, or if you're at a wooden dowel, PVC pipe. Then your top left hand, thumb is going to face down. Now I really want to maximize this, so instead of pressing out with the arms first, I want you to send your hips out first to the wall, out to your left, before you extend those arms out. Now you're gripping the ground with your feet, and I should have mentioned this earlier, you want to be barefoot or in a minimalist shoe when taking class. And now we're going to push down into the stick. Take the arms forward, so the chest and hips stay still, and then slowly go back. So we go from sagittal plane to the frontal plane. And we're just flossing into our lateral lines. It's okay if the bottom of the stick starts to kind of glide a little bit further away from you. Keep your chin nice and neutral and never work into pain. So be very mindful if you have any injuries or issues that you're working around. Let's do one more. Good. Pause here and slowly come out of the stretch. Going over to our other side. So the stick now is on the left side, bottom right hand near the sticker. Top right hand, or left I should say here, sorry. You're going to again lead with the hips first, pressing out, followed by the upper body. That top arm is going to have a little bit of leverage, so you're pulling back, activating that lat. And the inside bottom shoulder, right, is not hiked up towards your ear. You're going to pull that shoulder down away from the ear and begin flossing. Inhale and exhale. Again, never working into pain. Don't force it, so you'll only go back to where you personally are comfortable. And everybody's mobility and flexibility is a little different on each day, depending on how we're feeling. So let's go for 2 more here. Forward and back onto that frontal plane. 1 more. Take a moment, hold for here, and then slowly come out of your stretch. Well done. Now we're going to take the stick to the swell of our lower back. Standing a little bit wider than hip width, I want you to hinge forward, Feel that nice stretch through the hamstrings. Knees are unlocked. Lift the belly, and you're gonna press your lower mid-back up into the stick for a moment. And then slowly come to stand. So it's like doing a good morning. You're gonna squeeze now, activate your posterior line. So with the stick behind your back here, drop those shoulders, crush the stick, push in. So you should feel now that posterior line with your back light up. Eyes forward, hinge forward, flat back, belly lifted. Just start to kind of wake up the feet, wake up and feel the back line of the body. And come to stand, squeeze the glutes. Let's do 2 more. Crush the stick, hinge, belly lifted, length through the spine. Keep pushing into the stick. Grip the ground with the feet. Inhale, exhale. Drive up. 1 more. Hip hinge forward. Tailbone drawing back. This is a great drill if you teach kettlebells and somebody's struggling with a hip hinge. Inhale, exhale, drive up. Excellent. Now, we're going to do a few neck nods before we take it to the ground. Your stick now is going to go to your upper mid back. Take a second, roll your shoulders down and back, come into your horse stance. You could rotate your palms up, or if you'd like, I'm going to rest my hands on my belly here. Feet are forward, knees are soft, tailbone under. Levator scalenes are part of our posterior line with our superficial back line. So we're just going to mobilize our neck, looking up and down, getting into the trapezius and rhomboids just a little bit. Eyes leading the head. And now, after this next one, we're going to add on, looking down on a diagonal. So I'm going to dip my right ear towards the right shoulder. Dip and come to neutral. Staying in your horse stance the whole time, which could be a bit fatiguing. Other side. Now, dropping that shoulder down away from the ear. Left ear towards left shoulder. Getting a nice release through the neck. Good. 1 more. Now, up and down on a diagonal. So I'm looking upward towards the ceiling to my right, and then down to my big toe. Let's do 2 more here. Rib cage stays closed. You're going to feel that feedback of this stick behind the back. Good. Other side. Look up. Look down. Never lifting into pain. We're going to do 2 more, then we're going to go for some circles through the neck. 1 more, and then circle 3 in each direction. Again, gripping the ground with the feet. Glutes around, you're maintaining your horse stance. Focus on your breath so you don't get lightheaded. Big circle. 2 more. Now 1 more, and come center, shake it out. We're coming down with our large stick, coming into our prone position. Excuse me. So you're on your belly, and you're going to take the stick to your upper chest. Arms out by your side in a T shape. And we're going to use this stick as we work into a lumbar and hip stretch for our spine. This will help to keep the shoulders connected to the floor. So don't mind me, I'm going to put my head down for a moment just to demonstrate. We're going to take the right knee, bend it, elevate, lead with the hip open, and then I'm taking my big toe up and over towards the left. And then alternating, I'm going to lift the left, open that hip like so. We're going to do 6 here together. So 3 on each side. Crush the stick, eyes down. Take your core, tilt, bend, open. 1. Inhale and exhale, keeping the body moving. Eyes lead the head in the opposite direction. Again, you're pushing into the stick to help keep the shoulders connected, closer down to the ground. Let's do one more. Good. Come neutral. Slide those hands in. Come up and just rock out for a second. You could take a moment to stretch the feet too. Perfect. Okay, getting into our strength work. We're going to start now with some dead bugs just to light up our core in the beginning. I'm going to switch from my long stick to my short stick. Okay. In our dead bug, I'm just going to go sideways here. I would like you to try with straight legs so we could really optimize the connection to our posterior line. So you're going to flex your feet so the heels are facing upward towards the ceiling and the ankle is right above the hip line, a slight tuck of the tailbone. If you struggle keeping your legs straight, you could do the modified variation by bending the knees if necessary. You also have the option to keep your head up or to take your head down. So the stick is pressing in above the knees, mid-thigh, and now I'm going to take my contraption forward, slight tuck of the chin, and as I'm pushing the thighs forward into the stick and then stick forward into the thighs, I'm going to slowly lower my right leg. Inhale, exhale, take it back up to start. Press down with that left leg. So the more I flex my foot and drive down through the length of that leg, I'm going to feel a little bit more tension in my core. Push down, pull back up. Good. Again, option head up or down. Keep that lower back connected to the floor. Breathe. Excellent. Stay with it. Let's do one more on each side. Push. So the more you drive forward into the stick and press your hands forward into the stick, the more tension you have. And recover. Take a moment. Take the knees to each side just for a little release. And now we're going to go into single leg bridges. We're going to begin by putting our right foot flat on the ground. You want your knee in line with the hip and the heel not too close to the seat. We're going to slide that out just a little bit. Take a second, relax your shoulders. We're going to elevate the left knee. Ankle is going to be in line with the knee, knee in line with the hip. And I'm going to do the same thing, pushing forward into the stick. And then I'm going to have that left thigh pressing forward. So drop those shoulders. You're going to keep your head down. Scoop, tuck that tailbone under, and then drive up. Active hold. Push. So I'm connecting again with that left side. We want to be mindful that the right hip is not dropping. So you want to keep your hip line balanced. You're going to feel that work through that right hamstring. Hold 4 more counts. Hold 1, 2, 3, 4, and slowly unravel back down to the floor. Now we're going to do the other side. So your left foot is flat. Flex your right foot. Take a moment, drop those shoulders, scoop, tip that tailbone under. Slowly come up to your active hold and push. So I could really feel my core is braced here, supporting my spine. And again, I'm driving the stick forward into my right thigh. My right thigh is pressing forward. Here's my puppy coming to say hello. Thank you, Maggie. 4 counts. Hold 1, 2, 3. On 4, slowly lower. Now, the next exercise, we're going to perform 6 bridges on each side. Going back over now to the right. Ankle in line with the knee. Knee above the hip line. Take a moment, scoop your tailbone under. 6 bridges. Up 1. Not too fast. 2. Good. Keep pushing and driving. 3. We're going to hold on the last one. 4. 2 more. 5. Now next one, come up, hold 4 counts, push, push, hold 1, 2, 3, on 4, slowly come down, and now we transition to the other side. So, again, pack those shoulders, scoop the tailbone under, connect, up 1, keeping the hip line balanced, up 2, oh, here she comes back, up 3, almost there, so we're halfway, 4, scoop, 5, keep that hip line balanced, come up, pause, hold 4 counts, hold 1, 2, 3, on 4, slowly unravel. Great, take your short stick to the side, shake it out. Now we're coming up. We're gonna work into some calf raises for strength. So I'm gonna take my left hand on top, angle the bottom of the stick in closer to me, top of the stick is gonna be further up. Pack those shoulders, tailbone, under, and we're gonna go into our calf raises. So the stick is there just to give you a little bit of stability and support to help with your balance. Releve, lower, good. Releve, lower. Let's do 4 more. Up 1, up 2, excellent. 3, 1 more, hold on 4 counts, hold 1, 2, 3, 4. Take a moment, lower, and shake it out. We're gonna go for 10 more. Switch, right hand on top. Again, angle the stick closer to you. I'm gonna narrow my stance a little bit on the second set. Pack the shoulders, light up that front line for some support. Releve, lower. Calf raise 2. Good. Find a focal point. That'll also help with your balance. 3, up 4, up 5. So we're halfway. You feel that nice burn. 6, 7, up 8. 2 more. Last one here. Hold 4 counts. Hold 1, 2, 3, 4, and gently lower. Shake it out. Now, one of my favorite stick mobility drills, and I love all of the variations that stick mobility offers, is their RDL series. Love single leg work, and I decided today we're going to do the single stick variation where we get some cross body work, activating our lats as we work into our RDL. On a diagonal here, I'm going to take my right hand holding on the top of the stick with the palm facing up. My bottom left hand is now going to kind of come across diagonally as I go down into my RDL. I'm going to push out with that left arm. So what that's going to look like, here I'm standing tall first, here I'm lifting the left. Now I'm going to hip hinge forward. I'm pulling back with my top right arm, and now that left arm is coming across, creating some cross-body tension, and then slowly come to stand. I did a very long bike ride in road yesterday, so I have to admit, my legs are pretty fatigued right now as I'm demonstrating, so I'm a bit wobbly. Hold here. Inhale, exhale, drive up to stand. Good, let's do 3 more on this side. Hip hinge forward, come nice and level, hold, grip the ground with that right foot, light up that posterior line, and slowly come to stand. Let's do 2 more. Push, really bend that stick, draw back with that right arm, hold, come to stand. Good. 1 more. I'm going to take my left hand a little bit lower. Hold. Breathe. Staying parallel. Squeeze that back glute. And slowly come to stand. Excellent. Shake out your legs. And now we're going to go over to the other side. So left hand, palm is facing up. Stick is coming across the front line of the body on a diagonal. So here we go. Now I'm on that dominant leg. You might be on your less dominant leg now. Here comes one of Maggie's toys. Well, Never a dull moment when you have a puppy. Hold. Slowly come up. Good. Hip hinge forward, right? Activate that posterior line. Pause here. Scan your body. Inhale, exhale. Come to stand. So now we have 3 more. Reach across. Breathe. Eyes down. Slowly drive up. Now remember that working leg, you have a soft knee as you're going into your hip hinge. And slowly come up. 1 more. Really focus on creating that cross body tension. Take that right arm, driving down into the stick, coming across, hold, and slowly come to stand. Well done. Now our next exercise, before we start to stretch out, we're going to do a dynamic lunge with our short stick, and we're going to kind of do a cross body chop, working into our posterior line. So if you need any water, grab a sip of water now. I'll demonstrate before we go into the first one. So with our short stick, I'm going to go on a diagonal here. Here's my left leg. Crushing the stick, I'm going to lunge forward, swipe or chop across, up and over, and then as I drive back, I'm going to pull back with the right, drive up with that left arm. So it's going to be forward lunge and press back. We're going to go for a set of 8 on each side. Let's start with our left leg forward. So inhale, exhale, cross, breathe. This is 2. Take your time. 3. So you're pushing back and up on that diagonal. 4. 5, good. 6, we have 2 more. 7, 1 more. 8, excellent. Changing sides, shake it out. Now we're lunging forward with the right and chopping to the left. So right to left, 1. Reach back, 2, good. 3, 4, so we're halfway already. Press back, 5. Breathe, 6, 7, 1 more, and 8. Shake it out. We're going to hip hinge forward. We're going to go creating tension with our short stick. It's going to be our own piece of equipment for working into our lats. So I'll show you from the front view. So I'm hip hinging forward, flat back, packing the shoulders. Going to push into the stick, pull, activating, and lower. So the whole time we're going to alternate between pushing and pulling on the stick. So we could pull apart to lift. I meant to say, excuse me, push as we lower. Okay, so let's do this together. I'm going to go on a diagonal, grip the ground with the feet, belly lifted, length through the spine, pack the shoulders. So pull apart, draw the stick in, push, and lower. Pull apart, eyes down, good. Push, and lower. Again, pull apart, go nice and slow, push. Now, when you're pushing and lowering, you may also experience, right, your front line, light up, push. Working through the chest a little bit, pull. Working through the posterior line, push. Let's go for 2 more. Pull apart, breathe, push. 1 more here, pull apart, squeeze, 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 push, and lower. Good, stand up, shake it out for a moment. Now we're gonna get into our stretching. Take hold of your long stick. We're gonna go into 2 variations of bow and arrow. Now in our first variation, so we're standing a little bit wider than hip width, I'm gonna take the stick in front, a little bit of out towards my left side with my left hand here on top. Now the right hand is going to come across over the midline of the body, keeping my hips balanced, facing forward towards the camera. I'm going to hip hinge as I push the bottom arm out and pull back with the top arm. Now I know that we are getting into and highlighting the posterior line. This is going to kind of work that right shoulder, but we are going to open that front line of the pec into the bicep, into the shoulder of that top left arm. Good. And now slowly come up. Let's transition to the other side. Spin your stick if needed. Right hand on top. You're going to take that left hand towards the stick. Hip hinge, push out. Yep. Now, that chin, your chin should clear far over the bicep. Now, again, you're going to feel that stretch in your front line on the right arm, but I want you to focus again on behind the shoulder blade of that left arm. Hold here, 4 counts, hold 1, 2, 3, on 4, slowly come up. Now, back over to our bow and arrow that we did earlier in class where we did the flossing. Now we're just going to focus on a hold. Stance a little bit wider than hip width, gripping the ground with the feet. Top left hand, bottom right hand to the sticker. Lead with the hips. Now press out. Focus on those lateral lines here and stretch out the hips. So take the tailbone, tuck it under, squeeze your glutes, hold. And if you want, you could add a little front line by taking that bottom right hip, squeezing the glute, pulling that left hip back, and looking upward towards the ceiling. Slowly realign and come out of your bow and arrow. Up and over to the other side. Right hand, palm faces down. Left hand finding that sticker. Lead with the hips. Press out into the bow. Take your tailbone under, grip the ground with your feet. Focus on the stretch here through the lateral lines. Then, if you want, even though, again, I said it before, we're focusing more on the back line, but if you want to take a second and open up a little bit of that front line, you're going to look up and under, upward towards the ceiling. And then slowly realign and gently come out of your stretch. Taking now our large stick with the palms facing up, heel toe out into a wider stance. We're going to take our right side, come across the body, up and over to the outside of our left foot. Now, even though, again, we're going to get a little work into that front line here, I want you to really grip the ground with your feet. Focus on the stretch in the interior of your right leg and posterior. So take a moment, watch your alignment here, pull the body weight back rather than going into the toes, and hold, looking upward towards the ceiling. And now shift. When you come across here, focus on that right leg. Take your left palm, or right palm I should say, right? That's staying low, reaching across. Good. You're going to get a little stretch through that ankle too, so we don't want the toes sliding out. Keep those toes forward. Shift your body weight once again. So I'm pulling my body weight back. Here we go, focusing a little bit more on the legs rather than the upper body. And now shift back over to your left. Stay in the legs, breathe. Hold 4 counts. 1, 2, 3, on 4, come center. So I'm going to keep my left arm up, reach that left arm down. Knees, they're not hyperextended, but the legs are straight. So again, working into the posterior line. Take a moment, soften into the knees. come to stand safely, heel toe together, shake your legs out, and now we're going to do the other side. So rotating the palms up, heel toe out to where you're comfortable, hip hinge, now sweeping the left side over to the right, grip the ground with your feet, and lean now into the left. Hold here. Again, notice where your toes are pointing, that you're not going forward into the feet. Pull that body weight back. Now shift and glide. Focus on that left leg for a moment. Breathe, stay with it. Pull the stick in towards your body as you're shifting back over to your left side. Hold, breathe, and now gripping around the feet, nice and slow. Glide over. Pause here for a moment. Notice if your toes straight. You should, again, still get a nice stretch through the ankle. Take a moment, soften into the knees. Still hold high with the right arm, but reach that left arm down. Hold. Take a moment, soften into both knees. Roll up gently, heel toe in, and shake it out. We're going to work our way down to our backside for a T-spine stretch that I absolutely love. This was part of my routine this week. So let's see if I get the setup correct on the first try here. So we're going to take our legs. No, Maggie. Here comes puppy. I apologize. It's all good, Moogs. You're good. So, wait. Maggie, you're going to have to move, my little girl. Okay, so you're going to take your stick now to the top of your foot and slide that other leg under. So I've got my right foot flexed with the stick. Left knee is bent in line with the hip. And my toes are pushing the stick upward, and I'm holding with my right arm. Now, if you want a pillow for your neck, you could always put a pillow or a towel here for your head. And you're going to take your left hand on top of the right. Inhale, exhale. Reach that left arm up, eyes leading the head, and open into your stretch. This one feels amazing, especially if you're an overhead athlete, or as you see, I've got all these circular training tools behind me. It's really important to stay nice and mobile through the spine. Now again, inhale, exhale, reach up and over. Your eyes are looking over to your left. Take a moment and just absorb this stretch. Like I said, it feels amazing. And then slowly realign. Let's do one more. Take a breath. Inhale, exhale, reach. You're keeping your shoulder connected to the ground, that right shoulder. Hold. Last 4 counts. Hold 1, 2, 3. On 4, slowly come out of the stretch. So there's a few variations of this stretch that you could find on the Stick Mobility YouTube channel. And sometimes I'll hold that one for up to like a minute just because it feels so good. So now switching sides, let me just make sure I'm in the frame of the camera. It's a little awkward to get into at first, but once you get it, you get it. Oops, sorry. Okay, foot flexed, knee under, stick into that left hand. Okay, so now we're ready. Pillow if we need it. Right hand on top. Inhale, exhale, rotate, and hold. I don't know about you, but I could tell a little bit of a difference between my right and left. This side is a little bit tighter. And I always kind of take little notes as I run through my stick mobility drills on, what my body is kind of calling for, what it needs. Hold, and then again, come out of it. You're still pushing up with the foot, creating tension here. Keep that shoulder down. Inhale, exhale. Now, just hold this stretch. Stay with it. 4 counts. Hold 1. Hold 2. Hold 3. On 4. Slowly come out of it. So just to show you a quick option too, if you're doing this later and reviewing it, you could do a big sweep around with the arm to reverse it. I normally alternate between those 2 variations. Now, stretching out our hamstrings here. We're going to use our stick for this. If you want to swap out for your small stick, you can. Oops, I'm going to start knocking stuff over. Now, if you are naturally really restricted through your hamstrings, you could take your right knee and keep the leg bent. Now, I'm going to have you switch your grip to underhand so you have a little bit of leverage here as you draw in. If you're really flexible, you go to overhand so you could bend the elbows. So it's what your body is personally comfortable with. If you're mobile and flexible and feeling comfortable, you would extend your bottom right leg, flexing the foot with the toes up. You could have your head up or down. And then you're going to draw in with the stick, bend the elbows as needed. And then if you want, I always like to draw a little Z on the ceiling with my heel to kind of intensify the stretch a little bit. And then hold. Breathe, stay with it. 4 counts. 1, 2, 3, 4. Soften into the knee. That's a fantastic variation if you don't have like a yoga strap nearby, or if your legs are really long and you struggle with reaching. Now, other side, your choice, overhand or underhand, depending on how you feel and what position you choose with that bottom leg. Take a moment. You're going to, again, have if your leg is long, toes upward towards the ceiling. Head could be up or down. Now, you're taking that anterior tilt out, so you're going to scoop the tailbone under lower back is connected. You should feel engagement of your front line into the core. And just like we did on the other side, a little zigzag on the ceiling with your heel. And you notice the leg will kind of creep in closer. If you're struggling with that hip line as you take it in, then bend that other knee. Hold 4 counts. Hold 1, 2, 3. On 4, soften into the knee and release the stick. Now, this was requested, so I teach this class every other month, and whenever I do the straddle, I always get some DMs like, "We love it, can you bring it back in?" So since I've been off for a month and now I've just returned, I'm going to throw in the straddle to finish. Now, everybody is different with their flexibility, mobility. I could really go far out. I want you to find a spot where you're comfortable. And if you're struggling to lengthen the legs, or if you feel like you're caving in on yourself, take that towel and sit your tailbone on the towel or a pillow for a little bit of lift. So, sitting tall, flexing our feet, cross one hand over the other, and you're going to draw in the elbows as you pack your shoulders. You're going to feel again that posterior line. Hold. Deep breath in. And then on your exhale, I want you to point your toes. Feel the difference. Again, sitting tall. Now, if you'd like, you can intensify your stretch here by bending the elbows in towards your rib cage, sending the tailbone back, keeping length through the spine so you're not concave and rounding, and gliding the chest forward. Hold. Good. Come upright. Release your left hand, and then take a little spine stretch. So left palm is going to come down to the ground. Flex your feet. drop that right shoulder so it shouldn't be pulled up. Hold here 4 counts. Hold 1, 2, 3, on 4. Cross left hand over right. We're going to rotate over to the other side in a moment. Bend the elbows. Sit nice and tall. Inhale, exhale, change to a point. Pull in. Chest forward. Hold. Slowly realign, reflex. Release the right hand. Keep the left hand where it is. Right palm to the floor behind you. Flex those feet. Again, drop that shoulder, draw that stick in. Only rotate to what's comfortable for you. Hold 4 counts. Hold 1, 2, 3. On 4, come through center. Release the stick. Take your hands now to behind the knees and shake it out. That was today's class. Thank you. It's also my 42nd birthday today. Can't believe it because I feel like I haven't aged past the mid-90s. And stick mobility is one of those things that I incorporate daily into my movement toolbox to keep me moving well for the long haul, and my clients love it too. So today's class is going to be later uploaded to the Stick Mobility Instagram page and also to their YouTube channel, where you could catch many tutorials and episodes of the Movement Made Better podcast, which you could also listen to on Apple and Spotify. I hope you're doing well. Thank you again for joining me. I'm always open to feedback. You could find me on Instagram at KelsBells88, and I'll see you next Tuesday.